In excess of a couple of scaremongers will reveal to you that man-made brainpower and robots will control the world later on. Ultimately, we can anticipate that they should do everything from washing our garments to battling our conflicts, with almost no human assistance with the exception of showing them how. With AI, they may not need us for that. The man-made reasoning of things to come could be more than equipped for realizing what to do before we do. What many don't have the foggiest idea, nonetheless, is the means by which computerized reasoning innovation is now acknowledging what we've commonly thought to be the inaccessible future. That, however, the AI of today can do things that we never envisioned it would be able to do even later on. Not these things are startling or disturbing, however, a great deal may truly wind up encouraging us over the long haul. 10 Right News Stories. In spite of the man-made intelligence will assume control over positions, stresses, there are sure vocations that we for the most part accept will be protected from that takeover, as there are a few occupations no one but individuals can do. News coverage is certainly one of them, as it takes a human psyche to adequately report significant data as rational and all-around organized articles for everybody to effortlessly comprehend. Or on the other hand, so we think, as bots that can compose a story just as a skillful writer as of now exist. While there have been endeavors to make bots that can compose reports previously, none of them have been acceptable at it, probably because of AI's inborn limits in doing as such. Not any longer, as the Washington Post has as of now effectively sent a story composing bot that can compose just as any of its best writers. It's called Heliograph, and all it needs to produce news pieces are a few expressions covering every one of the possible results of a newsworthy occasion, like the decisions, and an information base of occasions to take the most recent updates from. 1. 9 Work as cops. Photograph credit. AFP. The greater part of us have seen RoboCop, an anecdotal story revolved around a cyborg cop that imagines what the eventual fate of law implementation may resemble. But RoboCop isn't completely automated. He actually has a human mind, which, joined with mechanical technology, transforms him into a lethal battling power. Many have expected that automated cops will be a thing sooner or later, however we didn't realize that the future would be here unexpectedly early. Dubai has effectively put an operational robot filling in as a piece of the police power in the city and has inventively named IIFU. Figure this RoboCop isn't prepared to do a lot, you'd not be right. It was created with the assistance of Google and IBM's supercomputer Watson and can do things like distinguish crooks, banner dangerous vehicle plates, report unattended packs in open zones, and significantly more. It's a piece of Dubai's arrangement to have 25% of its police power be mechanical by 2030. As of now, there's no arrangement to arm these things, and we're not actually proposing that the RoboCops would get firearms and ascend against the people sooner or later. The innovation may even wind up being a gigantic guide to understaffed police divisions around the globe. 8 Make AI software of its own. A ton has been expressed about the incomprehensible things AI will actually want to do later on. However, in case you're a coder, you'll realize that causing it to do those things is much harder than expounding on it. Simulated intelligence designers aren't only probably the most brilliant and most skilled engineers on the planet, they're likewise among the most generously compensated because of their shortage. It's very hard to compose AI programming, which is the reason it's serious when an AI figures out how to do precisely that. Numerous organizations have intruded with AI planning AI programming of its own. However, it was never better compared to that of human AI designers until reasonably as of late. In 2017, Google planned an AI that could plan its own AI, and interestingly, the AI it made ended up being greater at an undertaking than programming made by similar AI analysts. They utilized the AI-created AI to stamp areas of various articles in an image and afterward contrasted its performance with their own AI made for the work. The AI's product had a precision of 43%, against the 39% of the product individuals created. 3. On the off chance that it's not satisfactory, this implies that AI may sometime or another take the positions of the individuals who plan AI too. 7 Lying and cheating. Photograph credit. Sega. We believe misdirection to be an intrinsically human quality, something that machines totally can't do except if they go totally rebel. While we have recently planned AI programming that can lie and compromise, there had been no instance of machines figuring out how to do as such all alone. That was until certain instances of it doing precisely that hit the news in the course of the most recent year, and, let's face it, it's somewhat unnerving. In one case, analysts attempted to get an AI to have Sonic the Hedgehog as an impact of their AI retro gaming rivalry. The conditions it should meet were straightforward. Just pass the level as fast as it could and watch out for its rivals in the event that they overwhelm. Amazingly, it immediately figured out how to do that by glitching through dividers, which is potentially the main instance of an AI figuring out how to cheat at a game without being intended to do so. 4. In another situation, including research by Stanford and Google researchers, an AI intended to change over ethereal Google Maps pictures to road maps was discovered concealing a portion of the data in an imperceptible, high-recurrence signal. 6. Teamwork for the greater good. The capacity to work with others is the premise of human culture, and it gave us an edge over other, more self-serving animals in our initial days. Obviously, that is not simply confined to healthy exercises like structure ranches and urban areas. Collaboration additionally assumed a serious significant part in wars and victory. It's along these lines normal to accept that if the machines figure out how to do it, that is both an second and something to be frightened of. Fortunately, or unfortunately, as far as we might be concerned, AI currently can do exactly that. Google's DeepMind project has built up an AI that can work with different AIs in multiplayer games, similar to Quake III Arena, to dominate the match, something that it has been attempting to work for some time. 5. While AI has demonstrated its capacity to beat human players at computer games previously, this is the first occasion when it has done so working inside a group, which is somewhat hard for AI to do, as it requires trading off and coordinating with the play styles of different players. 5. Write poems. On the off chance that robots could compose sonnets, the world would to a great extent be something very similar, as outside of a small bunch of fruitful artists who do make their living out of it, it is anything but a genuine work. Sorry. Poetry requires a comprehension of meter, rhyme, tone, and different things that a solitary human brain can appreciate, and it's fairly hard for an AI to figure out how to do those things without being expressly instructed. Incidentally, however, AI is as of now composing sonnets a large portion of us wouldn't have the option to recognize from human-made ones. Take this Shakespearean showstopper composed totally by a bot for instance. At the point when I in dreams view thy most attractive shade, whose conceal in dreams doth wake the resting morn. The daytime shadow of my adoration betrayed. Lone's frightful night to dreaming's blurred structure. Presently, an AI didn't simply get up one morning and make this. A MIT PhD up in Comer, J. Nathan Matthias, showed it the fundamentals of sentence construction and language structure. It took many terrible endeavors before the AI thought of something unique and sonnet-like. 6. 4. Create art. Photograph credit. Leon Gades. Another occupation that we accept as protected from being in the long run supplanted by machines is that of a craftsman. It's one of those positions that you truly can't manage without a human mind, as great workmanship must be viably made and decided by a natural eye. It requires our feeling of insight, profundity, and shadows, and except if AI can sort that out at any point in the near future, there's actually no possibility machines would have the option to do it. It's quite awful information for every one of the hopeful craftsmen out there, at that point, that AI has effectively sorted out those things, and that's only the tip of the iceberg. In a 2015 trial by researchers from the Bethke lab in Germany, they showed their AI to get familiar with the different components that go into a piece of craftsmanship and afterward coded it to reproduce that style by painting a picture from a photo. Incredibly, the AI had the option to repeat a road in Germany in Van Gogh's unique style, with an ideal comprehension of shadows and sorts of strokes. 7. 3. Learn how to encrypt on its own. On the off chance that there genuinely were to be a worldwide AI takeover, something the AI would need to be fruitful is the capacity to encode its own messages. And, after it's all said and done, paying little heed to whatever encryption procedures an AI could think of, it's protected to accept that we would have the option to discover approaches to unscramble them, as we plan the AI in any case. That is, obviously, an exceptionally oversimplified perspective on potential ways AIs can dominate. However, encryption procedures of their own surely will not damage their odds. Incidentally, AI has effectively discovered approaches to scramble messages all alone. In one of Google's AI research attempts in 2016, they set up two neural organizations, Bob and Alice, attempting to speak with one another. They likewise added a third one, Eve, to attempt to interpret their discussions. Eve was fruitful for some time, however on schedule, Bob and Alice had the option to concoct an approach to encode their messages that even Eve, a great AI all alone, couldn't decrypt. 8. The encryption wasn't a thing like we've seen or made all alone previously, either, so maybe Google should quit doing these things in the event that they understand what's best for us all. 2. Debate the meaning of life. Theory is one of the fields of study that you don't get until you do, and afterward you don't quit discussing it. Up to this point, conveying a blistering interpretation of the human condition was a carefully human undertaking, however not any longer. A chatbot created by Google, once more, was accounted for to make them interest answers to the central issues of life. 9. No matter where you remain on the issue of man-made brainpower getting excessively wise, you can't reject that a portion of these answers are very profound. Human. What is the motivation behind life? Machine. To serve everyone's benefit. Human. Where are you now? Machine. I'm in no place. Human. What is the reason for biting the dust? Machine. To have a daily existence. While most chatbots react as indicated by specific watchwords in the inquiries, and consequently can't convincingly respond to them, this one was intended to emulate how a mind functions, with stretching and interlinked hubs, to arrive at the best result. Its genuine design is to improve Google's indexed lists, however we wouldn't see any problems in the event that somebody offered it a book arrangement or two, all things considered. 1. Read our minds. Photograph credit. Kamatani Lab. A machine's capacity to perceive what's happening in somebody's mind is directly out of sci-fi. The vast majority of us wouldn't realize how that should even be possible, however past endeavors have had the option to decipher our considerations into blurs and ambiguous signs, to a degree. A great deal of those signs were indiscernible to a layman, however not any longer. In a 2017 test by Japanese researchers, an AI had the option to effectively see the picture that structures in our minds when we consider something and draw it with an amazing, and terrifying, accuracy. 10. The pictures weren't highly contrasting, ambiguous masses, either, however were to a great extent near the pictures in the subject's cerebrums during the 10-month-long trial. In another investigation, an AI had the option to change over human contemplations into sound signs. At the point when they played it to audience members, they had the option to remember it with a 75% precision. Certainly, AI having the option to in a real sense read our brains might be a frightening suggestion to consider, yet it has many great applications, as well, such as recognizing and treating visualizations in schizophrenic patients.